there'll be no point telling you about the recording if I don't do it. So I've started recording it, right? If you really object to this, then either drop off or hide yourself. Oh, someone did already, right? Didn't like that. Right, so as we're going to get started, hi Eva. Right, so we'll get started with an intro from Emily. And Emily, who's with you? Maybe I'll introduce you and then you can introduce your guest as well, and then tell us what you're going to do. We kick this off and then we hand over, and it's Dirk. Okay? Right, Emily, over to you.
Hi everyone. So I'm here with 𝗪𝗑𝗪. 𝗪𝗪 is a guitarist and he makes his own music. And today we are going to do an R&B song for you. So without further ado.
Excellent, very good. Actually, the sound quality this week was better than last week.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you changed anything around, but it was really.
We
really
have a
nice.
microphone. Oh, it's clear hearing the voice. Next time, stick a microphone next to the guitar. And it's getting better and better.
Thank you.
But it's excellent.
Yeah, Boyan is a sound director, aren't you?
Yes. I can give you a special discount.
He's joking, of course. Right. So excellent. That was well done. That was really nice. So, yeah, if we want to buy your album, where do we go?
My album is
Some experience
I'm
also.
joking. Right.
Yeah.
But you have one?
I don't yet, but he does.
Yeah, really? All right, you should also share the links as well so we can check out, because it's nice to sing the song, but then we don't want to like think, well, who was that? How do we get hold of them? How do we listen to more, and so on.
Okay.
So in the event itself, if you just drop some links in there, then people can check it out.
Okay.
All right, so that was great. There's tons of instruments there, like violin and saxophone and all sorts.
Yeah.
Who plays all of those?
I attempt to play them.
Ah, right, okay. Well, we'll have to do another that's all about music, and then have you playing each a different one. Right. But anyway, right. So we have to switch now, in the essence of time, to our guest. So thank you very much
Thank you.
for that wonderful song. And yeah, we'll have to talk about what's going to happen for the next one and so on. So I'll catch up with you later. Right, so now our special guest, our 35th guest. Oh yeah, 35 already. So our 35th guest is the man in the tie. So 𝗬𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗪, if I pronounced that right. 𝗬𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗪?
That's fine. Hello. My name is Dirk. My name is Dirk.
Right. So before we go into what you do now as a business, we want to know, who is Dirk? Where is Dirk from? A little bit about you, maybe travels, education, family, any moments that you want to share with us, and then we'll switch into that. So if people can be on mute to start with, and then we'll open up the floor to people to interact a bit later on. So the spotlight is now on Dirk. So Dirk, over to you.
Yeah. So who is Dirk? Dirk is pretty international. He was born in Germany. Went to school there. Didn't want to learn any languages until the age of 15, and well, I did. I went to the United States for an exchange year. Picked up a little bit of English, and continued my international path.
Yeah, I see what you mean. You can only pick up a little bit of English in the US, but we can discuss that later. Yeah, there's Pete waving.
So, but it gives you a lot of motivation to go into a different country, different culture, where you're totally lost, you don't understand anything, and you see you're succeeding. And but I brought back and continued my education really on an international level.
So how long were you in the States for?
Oh, in total about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
I've been, was an exchange student to the suburbs of Chicago. And I had my studies, I got my education, I got in New York, in a fashion school, FIT. Well, that's probably where I learned to dress fashionably.
So what made you go there in the first place?
I wanted to become a journalist, and where else could you be a journalist than in New York? But the moment I sent out applications, I realized that being a journalist, you're on the lower paying side of in your life, and that's when I decided to be on the other side in PR, public relations, and that's where my studies took me to be a publicist. My first job was with Universal Pictures, did PR for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
And Lufthansa, and moved on from there, from doing PR for people and publicity to doing publicity for
I'm just curious now about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Any particular movie or something?
Movie Junior. He was pregnant with Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. All right. So you can't say "I'll be back" because that wasn't you.
It was not that film, but
so was it some catchline or something or special about that?
No. Well, I think the special thing was that he was pregnant. I've never seen a guy pregnant before, and then he was there and he gave birth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was a great experience. Did a lot of promotion of his films in the media and with his targeted audiences.
Did you get to meet him as well then?
I got to meet him. I mean, he's a big, impressive man when he stand up. He came to the office in New York to see how the the publicity was advancing, because one of the launch markets was New York. So
excellent.
So
after you had your fill with the US, then where did you go next?
Well, I've always been asking myself, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I could not respond to, well, just being operationally doing publicity for people, yes, but why? What does it bring companies? Was the question that I asked, and I added an MBA. I added an MBA in international business administration to understand, what is marketing really used for, and how can you use it strategically? And that's really also what I'm started to do then slowly on my own as a freelancer.
So, and on the personal side, you're married?
I'm married, have 2 children. We have, every 4 years, we play the Olympic Games, our own Olympic Games. We have 4 different nationalities in the family.
Wow.
The youngest girl, she's got 4 nationalities. The older one 3, and I'm Swiss and German. My wife is Swiss and French. That creates a pretty big mix, but it's great. It's an openness that we have in the family, an openness that we live every day, and that's useful professionally as well.
But you met her back here in Switzerland or on travels?
I met her, I was living in Paris at that time, and decided to go for a vacation in Brittany. And I met her on his father's boat. She had invited a friend of mine who were going together to the boating. And he said, oh, let's go and see my friend. And we met there and never left each other since.
And she fell overboard in love?
She did. I had to carry her.
Right, wow. So I'm trying to add some humour here, you see, for people that get that. Right, so excellent. And then...
So if she would have fallen over, I would have gone after her and catch her like a fish.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute, right? Because people will say, why is he wearing a fish? So, or is that more related to the business, or can we introduce that now?
That's really related to my business.
All right, we'll come to that. We'll come to that in a minute.
Let's talk about that later, to networking and how to stand out.
Right, we'll come to that in a minute, because you're kind of known by your fish tie. Is it just the fish ties, or is it fish in general?
I go fishing once in a while. My grandfather, he took me to a local lake in Germany to go fishing. Then I went to Canada with my host dad on a really distant lake. We were there just a boat, a hut, without really electricity. I went twice to Iceland to do fish, to do fishing. I got really big. It doesn't fit the screen. Fish. They were 26 kilo heavy. So fish have followed me, and I'm a big fan of fish.
Yeah, me too. I like fish and chips.
Like eating fish.
Seafood in general, and the less processed, the better.
Oh, yeah. So, how old are the kids now?
They're 12 and 10. So it's changing.
All right. Okay. All right. So, and you live now back in Switzerland.
So my work is in Lausanne. I'm at Bel Air, but I live in France now for 18 months.
Okay. All right.
In Besançon and Lausanne.
But you're commuting across a lot then?
I'm commuting Before COVID, almost every day. Since COVID, a lot less.
All right, okay. So tell me, right, so you kind of started off in journalism and then you kind of marketing and all that. So tell me kind of the transitions with the job and to what you're doing now.
Yeah, it was about it was about 15 years ago, 16 years now, that I did an MBA and then worked with multinational companies in Paris. They sent me back to the US.
Can you mention any names?
𝗪𝗡𝗥 and 𝗪𝗘𝗦𝗧. 𝗪𝗘𝗧 is probably a more household name.
I've heard of 𝗪𝗡𝗥𝗧 as well.
𝗪𝗡𝗥 is more in oil field and in chip cards. So they sold off chip cards. Today it's called Gemalto. And that's something you might have seen on your SIM card, your banking card.
So you've kind of always like worked in the big corporate world.
I've been in the corporate world, yeah, initially. Then I became an independent with the idea of helping smaller companies to have a similar quality of marketing and promotion as the corporates have, which was more or less successful. I've changed. I was living at that time. I left Paris. I went to Normandy. Then 3 years later, I moved to the United States again for 3 years, and then for a year to Germany before we moved back to Switzerland.
Yeah, you didn't go to Atlanta, did you?
I did go to Columbus, Ohio at that time.
Because there's some dodgy people that live in Atlanta. You've got to be careful there.
I've not been to Atlanta other than to the airport, actually.
It's Pete, but he can't hear me, you see. Got to watch that. No, but anyway, so now, was there kind of a trigger point? Like you said that you were working for these big ones. You saw kind of the smaller kind of companies that wanted to also grow, and you had that experience of working with the bigger ones, and you wanted to help more of the kind of the underdog in maybe it's not the right term, but the kind of the smaller companies to have that opportunity to create a better presence and everything. So what made you think that I want to do that? Was there a certain point that thought, yeah, I'm kind of fed up with having the kind of the big boys, I want to give someone else a chance?
I wouldn't say I was fed up, because it's great to have the infrastructure, and the tasks are multifaceted, but also chopped up in smaller chunks. So work is it takes much longer because there are so many people involved in the decision chains. Mm-hmm. And then becoming independent was also the opportunity to be your own boss and work on projects that you prefer maybe over others.
And a different clientele. So I mean, you're switching from kind of a more comfortable big corporations to the smaller ones that are more vulnerable.
Yeah, that's what I realized. Actually, being in a corporate environment, it is really comfortable. If you don't have to run after your clients, you don't have to create your own customers. But basically, you have a team that's working on bringing in customers. So that's something that's definitely an advantage of being in a corporate company. And then smaller companies, the key point here is to sell your services and stand out from all the competition that is on the market.
Absolutely. So you
why
can give
would people buy from you and not from the person next to you or after you or before you?
So I think probably we all need some advice and support in that, because we have to, particularly that more and more people are moving online. How do you have that online appearance, and why would you attract someone to kind of your services or products?
Well, I think it's more the how. The why is you want your business to sustain, to have a basis that is viable for you, for the business, for the employees. And So and that's where the fish actually came in. I went to a conference in Poland. And while I got there, I realized 2,500 people. And I was wondering, how can I separate myself? How can I be distinct and be recognized as Dirk when there's so many people? And I went to the shop of the hotel and saw a fish. Well, I first saw a fish, then I saw a tie. A lot of people still continue to see a fish, and that's good. That's good. We all have different perspectives. But once I saw the fish, it fell in, and I loved it. I love quirky ideas, and it goes well with my positioning as well. I'm now working a lot with my tie, bring in my messaging around it.
Yeah. So let me just hold you there a minute, because Pete's back now, so he didn't hear what I said actually, so that's okay, right? So we were just saying about, well, where's he going? Oh, there he is. We were just saying about these
English
dodgy people that live in Atlanta, and then you disappeared. But Pete is a branding guy, so also about branding and particularly personal branding. So now that I resonate with 100% with what you say, Dirk, about I've been at many events, and there's probably a few people here as well, when there's been, you're actually part of a group, but you don't know half the people. 90% you'll probably never know. And how do you stand out? How do people get to see you, and why would they be attracted to you? Now, you don't want to go in dressed like Superman or something, but you need something that maybe people will want to come and at least ask you about the tie, so then that's the icebreaker. So being a branding guy, then, I mean, what do you think about wearing something that makes you stand out as well? So Dirk was just saying about the tie, and he went to an event and there was 2,500 or so people there, and he wanted to be, I guess, noticed.
Well, I heard Dirk say earlier that he kept questioning why he did what he did. And when I heard that, I thought that's spot on. Because when you know what you do and why you do it, then everything else kind of falls into place. So he's been challenging himself to be true to himself. And so I believe, I trust you at your word, that you are living your true self. So the idea that he would wear that tie is, I think, perfectly suitable, given the fact that he's gone through all of this self-evaluation to come up with who he is. And so for me, that's genuine Dirk, whereas somebody else who just throws on something because they just want to stand out, but it doesn't represent themselves accurately would probably be doing themselves more harm than good.
Dirk, is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, well, I keep saying I'm living the dream, and it's true. And when I present myself, I usually start off around the fish, and I say, give a man a fish to eat, and he'll have food for the day. Show a man how to fish, and he'll start drinking beer and fishing all his life. And those are the customers I'm looking for, people that are hands-off, laid back. So I'm trying to put a spin on my on the tie as well.
Yeah. No, I would say I just love the other part too, which is one of the beautiful things about knowing who you are, and sharing that in a translucent way or a very transparent way, is that you dissuade people who aren't connected to you to probably not bother you, and the ones that are connected are the ones that you want to most talk to. So it's really a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I didn't see it that way. But it definitely is. I mean, it's obvious when I wear a tie.
So
it's a little bit uncommon.
Yeah. So let's just go back to that event then. So you went out and you bought yourself a tie, and then you came back in, put the tie on, and what were the results? Well,
after the event, I followed up with the guy with the fish around his neck, and it worked. Everyone knew immediately who I was. I would have said, oh, this is Dirk, we met at the event, the ease of being recognized at the beginning of my email would have been much lower. And you know, since the event, I've got a little fish farm. So
wow.
Yeah, it is a constant. There's a constant reminder. I'm actually working on my logo, company logo, and I'll add a little fish in there.
What were they? Ties as well?
They're just fish.
Oh, just fish.
Just a little fish.
Nice.
Do you use these small fishes to catch big fish?
Oh yeah, you have a small one and a big one?
That's a good one. I use a lot that I'm helping companies today, to become big fish in narrow markets.
I mean, you've got an excellent kind of tool to play with in that respect. I mean, because fish resonate with a lot of different kind of sayings and quotes and whatever. So it's a great prop.
It is. And it makes, I mean, this is my advice to anyone. Find something that makes you memorable. And that is the objective, the main objective of the fish.
Yeah. So, Boyan, what would your thing be?
My thing?
Yeah.
Wow. I have my thing. Actually, it's my nickname, which is 𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗛, but in translation, this is the button. So it's something small, but it's very important. Without buttons, you will be unimpressed, let's say.
So you could have a button then on your logo.
It's my nickname for ages.
Button is your nickname.
𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗛.
All right, we'll call you Button next time.
Okay, I guess.
Right, but it's a good idea because creating that, I mean, I talk about creating visibility as well, but you also need your own visibility. I mean, you need to be visible and then a lot of things after that. But first thing, you need to be found. Right, did someone disappear in? Laura, you have to go again. Oh, you have another meeting. All right, she's gone. She's a school teacher, you see. Right, so back to Dirk. So so now tell us a bit more about who are your typical clients and what services you offer to them.
Yeah, so today, after all that, it was a long way to come from PR to where I am today. I help companies more on their international and local strategy. It makes sense in a second. So I help companies wanting to come into Switzerland and to set up shop here, either through a site, a production site. It could be finding distribution partners, sales team, or just customers. And I'm also helping companies, Swiss companies, to go abroad. I'm part of several networks. One of the networks, I have people like me, but currently in 16 other countries, and they do the same services that I provide, so that we can hand off one client to different countries. And I help companies also in their positioning, because that's even more important than to go abroad or to find more customers. Is companies need to know who they are and what their personality is. What is the price point? If I take an example, McDonald's, we all know how fast it is, how great it is, or not. But we know what to expect when we go to McDonald's. If we are here in Lausanne or in I don't know, in Rio de Janeiro, we would get the same burger. We know exactly what to expect. And we know if McDonald's were to open a hotel tomorrow, we had an idea what the hotel would be like, how fast,
that consistency. Yeah, what you say there, maybe Pete is thinking the same, because Pete uses something similar when you say about a brand and something. It's the same wherever you go. It's the same look and feel. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I like that.
Ruthless consistency is what I like to say.
Yeah, it's very good, very to the point. and because then the expectations are clear, and it helps, again, I'm saying that, in setting the price, in setting in setting expectations with the target audiences. And then the next step is to access the market, find more customers, and go abroad.
So with the services that you offer, so it's kind of a full kind of end to end. I mean, it's helping with the branding or the PR part, the lead generation and everything. So maybe tell us a bit more about kind of the services and how do you deliver those services now?
Well, I'm not. So I'm independent. But I have a team that is working with me for some of the execution. I usually keep the project management on my own. But this week, I was working on a project of sea salt. I was working on snacks from India, from Thailand. I was working on Bitcoins. I was working on company funding. I was working with another company that wants to enter the Swiss market as well. And so it's very diverse, trying to focus a little bit on the food segment. And my previous focus was more on mechanical and industrial applications.
All right. So if you had a particular sector to focus on, I mean, it would be the food industry or the food sector.
Today with COVID, I think we all have challenges, and the food market is pretty stable. Medical is pretty stable. So those are pretty good markets.
Yeah, I guess because people always have to eat. So, yeah. Then we're just going to open this up to the audience as well, because we want this to be interactive. So do you have any questions to the audience? And then audience, do you have any questions to Dirk? So you can come off mute now and join in.
So I'm a networking guy. We didn't speak about that so far. I'm in several groups where we're just connecting people, and that's really my business, is knowing whom to ask. And I'm looking for other for importers and exporters in Switzerland, actually, and around the world. So if you know any of any importers, exporters, I'd be happy to talk to them and get to know what they do and show what I do.
Bulgarian chocolate for Switzerland, will it fit?
For Switzerland, importing to Switzerland, or other countries as well?
Importing to Switzerland.
I'm sorry?
To import Bulgarian chocolate to Switzerland.
That might be difficult, but Bulgaria has a lot of other products that are interesting for Switzerland.
Yeah, Paul, I saw you nodding your head because you're in India, but you want to do things also in Switzerland. You're on mute.
Yeah. Okay, so I have made some software for publishing industry, and I'm trying to set up this company in Switzerland, trying to get customers in Switzerland. Not easy. I'm trying to use the internet, email marketing. That's what I'm doing, and slowly building relationships. Some people are now slowly they're opening my mails, and that's what I see. That's it. And I've also focused a bit on the insurance domain also, because I think that would be a good market in the Switzerland market. That's it.
I think particularly India is a very tough call for doing business with Switzerland. You might want to work with the Indian Chamber of Commerce to help you open the market.
Right.
Or we could discuss as well, but I think you need Indian. There are some countries that have shadows, and Eastern countries Eastern European countries, or any country outside Switzerland has difficulties to work with Swiss companies. But the further you go away, the more shadow you have, and the more trust you need to create. And so you need reputable partners.
Okay, done. We'll be contacting you.
All right, I put my information in the chat.
Done.
Excellent. So in your business at the moment, so how are you reaching out? I mean, because these are international, do you use any sort of platforms or anything to reach your clients, or how do they find you?
Yeah, I'm working through different networks. As I said, I'm part of Cross Business Consultants Network of Global Business Group. That's actually a network I created myself. I talked about it, having the 16 partners around the world who do the same, have the same services as I do. I'm part of BNI. I'm on EntNest since 2015.
Wow.
Not very active, but...
so you must have been one of the first.
I don't know. Johan never mentioned it, but I'm on the, hey, Johan.
Hey.
I'm on EntNest ever since we met. You had the presentation that I attended where you showed us your roadmap.
Dirk, what's the most, I don't know if you cold call if you're on so effective.
Referral marketing is very interesting. From the moment on where you have people that can refer you, to refer you. So having a warm recommendation, that is really awesome.
Yeah, I think
the challenge in those.
Yeah, I was just going to say
the challenge.
Oh, go on.
So I think it's breaking up a little bit. The challenge is to find the network, the people that will be able to recommend you. So sometimes it's important that you pay commission in order to facilitate that recommendation.
So just looking at your LinkedIn profile, you do currently, maybe there's more, but I see 3 distinct different experience sections in there. So you're an executive director of Global Business Group. Then there's the international growth strategist, so kind of your growth business, your own thing, I guess. And then the BNI. So maybe tell us how you fit into each one of these, which one's the focus, or are they all 3 running in parallel, or which one, I don't know, if you can just clarify.
Yeah, they're all important. In particular, so my own company, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗧 to establish my services. And then I started to reach out to people in Switzerland and worldwide through BNI. It's a business networking group. And with people that I met through BNI and their friends, we created the Global Business Group, which is which is a unique group to promote business within us, which is a revenue sharing group. So we pay each other for services that we're providing, and it is for me the future actually, because Growth Driver will integrate into that, into the Global Business Group.
So being in EntNest and a community like this, I mean, you are, for the people that didn't read the chat, you are number 71 on EntNest.
So, 2 days earlier until we're going to be 17, but...
Yeah. So congratulations. So within EntNest and communities like this, I mean, it's all about trying to, I mean, like you said before, it's about referral. If people know someone, and they get to know them, then it's easier to refer them because they wouldn't have known them before. They'll just say, well, that guy with the tie, but I don't know what he does, right? So now at least people know what you do, so it makes referral easier. So what is it?
You can do that as well on EntNest. I mean, this is
exactly.
I think EntNest is a great example of a community that of like-minded people, and as soon as you are in this type of environment, you need to harness it You need to position yourself and show your value add and what you're looking for. And if you listen to what I said earlier, I presented myself and I also said what I'm looking for. In case someone knows any exporters or importers, they can put them in touch with me.
Excellent. So,
can I ask something?
Sorry?
James?
Who's that?
James, this is me, Eva.
Oh yeah. I'm looking around the screen.
You're around, I know. I'm there in a little corner. First of all, Dirk, I'm glad that you shared your experience. And I have just 3 questions for you. I understood that you're looking mainly for importers and exporters, and that is very clear. But I'm curious to find out what kind of importers and exporters are you looking for? Because I have been in the imports and exports field, but we were involved with food, okay? Fresh produce to be precise. So I do have contacts and have experience in that field. But to me, 2 things are very important. One is what is it that we are importing, exporting, and what are your target customers or clients? What is the market that you want to target? So yeah, I just wanted to hear that from you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm not importer myself.
Yes.
I'm an agent, or I work on a commission. So I match people. I match importers and exporters.
Mm-hmm.
And I match the importers with, it depends. Supermarkets, I have a client who is looking, he's into business to business. So he's looking into, I don't want to be too revealing, but he wants to go into hotels. So he wants to be present in hotels. And it depends, the target, I'm summarizing it as market access, which leaves it as pretty broad. Sometimes it's end customer, sometimes my customers are looking for buyers in supermarkets or other distribution channels.
Okay, because my experience has been sourcing, so I would buy fresh produce from all around the world, and then I would have to be organizing obviously the transport, which is also part of it, storage, which was very important for fresh produce, and at the same time I would have 2 main groups of customers. One of them are huge supermarkets. The others would be, stores that were people own. And we also got into schools, when the schools were open and they provided for fresh fruits and vegetables. We were, that was also a nice market, but it needed to be tackled very differently. And it's very exciting. So now I understand that you're agent. So you're kind of linking one with the other, so that it's like a multi-level kind of way of working, isn't it?
I wouldn't call it multi-level, commission-based. Is what I'm using as a description.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to discuss with you further.
Yeah, sure.
Although I'm trying not to be too much in the fresh foods distribution, because that has some really difficult challenges.
It does indeed.
So Eva's originally from Spain, as you can tell the way she speaks so fast.
Well, there's nothing compared to Spanish. If I speak Spanish, that's like, oh, hey.
So, Dirk, is there anything that we can do as a community to help you?
Well, I'm always looking for customers, companies that need help to position themselves, help in digital media, digital marketing, strategy. So I'm helping when I take on a customer, not for import or export, but when I'm taking on a customer for positioning, I work with them first on digital marketing. I first work with a company to determine where they are and where they want to go in order to set the strategic framework. Because it is clear if I want to go to Paris and I start walking today, I'll get at some time I'll get to Paris. But it is important to know what framework I have to get there, what are the conditions, and that needs to be fixed before a project starts.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I mean,
if you know any, I'm sorry, that was your question. If I'm very happy to work with you, with your customers, send them over. I'll put my information in the chat. It's 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗥@growthdriver.biz.
Yeah. So what we'll do also, if you could put all, I'll copy these over into the event itself, so people can see in the event all your contact details, and they can reach out to you there. So within 𝗬𝗪𝗡, I mean, do you have? I mean, without looking, I mean, do you have your own? Would you plan to run any events or anything for yourself within there to attract attention?
I do, and I just realized I put in I copied my signature, which is just LinkedIn, and that's one of the other networks that I'm using. I should have copied my 𝗬𝗪𝗡 link there as well, but you find me as 𝗬𝗘𝗔𝗖𝗛 on the 𝗬𝗪𝗡.
Don't feel guilty.
I'm number 71. And
Of course.
So I'll provide that to you, James, before before you copy my information. And I'd be happy to run shows or to run an event. I've been thinking about a podcast. I call it podcast. I've not thought about how to distribute it. About different importers, exporters, and business strategists like myself, to exchange and to see how others are working, just to educate about our work.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing, and you've got obviously Victoria and Johan here from 𝗬𝗪𝗡 that would support or guide you or help you on that journey as well, because this is also a great, which I found is a great testing ground for services and things, to test something out that you do bring in people, and then you end up with people that want to follow because they're interested in either what you're doing or who you work with or the services that you offer, and it creates that community feeling. So then when you're on a call like this, you can actually reference people because you know them. And it makes it easier. And I see lots of synergies. I mean, what you said and what resonates with Pete, with the food, and Roanna, and then Eva. I mean, there's already connections that could stimulate a further conversation, and that's the whole idea. So to do your own thing, like you mentioned, is exactly for kind of these purposes, because it does stimulate. Even if you got one connection and it made sense and it brought business, and it is a win-win. So a great thing. So yeah, Dirk, is there anything that you want to share, or you want to point us to, or something? I mean, when you talk about your ideal client, what do they look like?
Well, they are a small, medium-sized company, 50 to 200 employees. They might just have their one person for marketing, or they might just be thinking about it. And so that's one client set. The second set is companies any size, thinking about going abroad. Companies who want to know how to establish themselves in Italy or in Germany, in France, in India, in Turkey, in the United Arab Emirates, in Denmark, in the UK. How to import, export into these countries. I'm here to help.
Yeah, so you've got connections all over, in all of these countries.
I do, and those are not just connections; they're trusted connections. There are people I'm in touch with on a weekly basis.
Do you have a system to keep these connections and to maintain the relationships?
Well, I'm, as I said, different networks. It all started with a network called Business Networking International, and it evolved because I started to go and visit that network in different countries, and then I met people, and we started different groups based on that. So,
but you represent Switzerland for BNI.
I'm not representing Switzerland for BNI. They're not exclusive, but in the Global Business Group, the group that I founded to promote international business, I'm representing Switzerland, but I have a group called Team Switzerland, which is helping me to to facilitate the projects, to find imports, exports that we're proposing to different regions. So it's all, it's one hand helps the other.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't put all your eggs into one basket. You've got to spread it around a bit.
So it's quite clear. Nobody. Yes, sorry, Victoria.
I have really just a quick question. Do you have clients in Africa?
I don't have. No, I don't have customers in Africa right now.
Okay, thank you.
That's a leading question, because Victoria is working in Africa, aren't you?
Yes, I'm right now a community manager for Africa at Dentist. So, yeah. When you said market access, I was like, oh, do you have any networks there or something? Because
well, I have a group I know well, a Moroccan group with a humanitarian social aspect. Before, so they're reversing 5% of all their revenues to projects that help people in order to help the Moroccan people to stand up and to raise the standard of living, education and standard of living. But that's it. And I saw on EndNest there's a very active African network as well.
Yeah.
So we've also got, I mean, she's on mute at the moment. I mean, because she's at work. So Vanessa here. So she is listening in, and she's from Curacao. So is there any kind of exchange or anything you do in the Caribbean?
I have Mexico.
All right.
But not the Caribbean itself. It's the other side, Pacific side of Mexico.
Yeah, you should.
Maybe Vanessa. Then team up.
Unfortunately, she can't be on video because she's working, so she's just listening in. But she's chatting as well. But I mean, that is also. I mean, there's plenty of different countries here that we represent that could be something interesting. It's just about having a conversation and seeing, is there a fit? Does it make sense? And if not, then whatever. But it could lead to something else.
Absolutely, it's great. And why don't you all put in the chat where you're from, where your country of origin is, and maybe also where you're based right now. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I told you, with the best chocolate.
The best chocolate.
I think we're all, the way I can see it, we're all inside of EndNest, except maybe for Francis Bolton, who I don't know yet, but I'd love to get to know at one point in time, of course, also. But yeah, that's another good opportunity for further connections, of course, through there and seeing each other.
So Francis, where are you from?
I'm actually born in London, but my family are from Jamaica.
Ah, see, another from, there's lots of connections. Yeah, we had a guest that's from Trinidad and Tobago, and he was a celebrity footballer, and yeah, there was a few from kind of the Caribbean islands and whatever. So we've had Aruba, not Bonaire yet, but we've had Curacao and so on. But anyway, we have to wrap up now because we're on the hour. So Dirk, any final comments or remarks or anything?
Yeah, awesome. I really like being here, discussing with you, with all of you. Be happy to continue the discussion afterwards, and let's see how we can work together and create some projects together.
Absolutely. So if you've got any links or anything you want to share, you can either go and put them in the event or send them to me and I'll put them into the event. But I'll put them there, and then people can be directed to you or website or wherever you want to point them.
All right, I'll send you a link.
All right, excellent. So Dirk, thank you once again for being our 35th guest on the Featured Business. right? Brought to you by Visibility Impact and 𝗪𝗡𝗡, right? And yeah, I have to see what's going to happen next week because I forgot it's school holidays, and it's also Valentine's Day, right? So yeah, I was going to do a Valentine's special, but if I'm not going to be here, I can't do it. So anyway, might have to move.
Record yourself.
That's a good one, yeah. Oh, I get Pete. You could host it.
I could potentially.
Or Eva wanted to host, didn't you?
Me? I didn't offer myself. I only offered to help.
Yeah, Emily would
Well,
sing.
that would be helping, Eva.
Yeah.
Pardon?
That would be helping.
You could help.
But it's like too much in the front. That's
It's
why.
easy. You just jump on here and start talking.
Easy. Okay.
Yeah, Emily will sing.
Hey, you're sorting it all out, eh?
Anyway, we can talk about that later. So thanks everyone for being wonderful guests.
Thank you, everyone.
And Vanessa, we want you to be a guest, and also Francis as well, and Paul, and also Gert. Yeah, coming on regularly. But we
I think I was penciled in for next week, but maybe we'll do it then.
Oh yeah,
a bit later. Yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to talk to you about that because it is penciled in for next week.
Yeah.
I might have to change that because I didn't know it was school holidays and they want to go skiing. And
yeah, no, we can do it the session after that. Don't worry.
All right. Okay. I'll have to
Cool.
So no session next week, James?
Well, I don't know yet. Or unless someone else wants to host it. Or maybe Dirk, you host it. Or Gert host it. Or Eva. Or
Yeah, well,
Victoria.
Let's do it. We'll find Pete to do it.
Anyway, volunteers are always welcome.
Combination of. How about we all do it?
Gert, you can host it and interview yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? One man show. And I'll be the audience as well, you know. Just...
Oh, don't worry about that. We come here.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
I have to go now. Yeah. Okay. Thanks,
a great
everyone.
weekend.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Derek. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.